Hello, how are ya? I have to redo my video. I keep saying the wrong things. I wonder if that has to do with getting old. I don't know. Sometimes I blame these things on my age, just so I have an excuse. All right, I want to continue with my topic of false prophet and, of course, Trump. I'm hearing more and more now people saying, oh, Trump's gonna make this peace treaty. And of course, they're referring to this peace treaty from Daniel 9. When the Antichrist makes a peace treaty. Oh, what? Antichrist makes a peace treaty? Really? Hey, people, if you've been following me, you know that's not the truth. I have done lots of videos on the 70 weeks of Daniel. And we know, hopefully, I don't know, I will talk about it again today, that whoever makes this covenant is, number one, not the Antichrist. Number two, it's not a peace treaty. So but we're going to look at it today because people again are screaming, Trump's going to make a peace treaty. But if Trump makes a peace treaty, is he then the Antichrist? Or of course not, because there is no one Antichrist. If we look at the definition of 1 John 2 and 2 John 1, we know the definition is in plural. Anybody and everybody who rejects Jesus coming in the flesh is Antichrist. I'm not making that up. Please read it. Lots of people don't read it. They allow themselves to be fooled by dispensationalism, and many people don't even know what dispensationalism is. But hey, I have a playlist for dispensationalism. Watch it. I have a playlist for Antichrist. Watch it. Because people confuse that all the time, but that's the bottom line that we need to understand. So is Trump the Antichrist? I've already done the video showing clearly that Trump is the false prophet. Why? The false prophet is the beast out of the earth. In Revelation 13, you read the description, it's an empire. It's not a religious person. It's not a religious institution, but it's an empire, political system. It's a political system that will be destroyed during the Armageddon War. It's an end times empire. And I've already looked at the different beasts. The beast out of the sea, which is Europe, or it used to be the Holy Roman Empire. And then we have the beast out of the earth. There can't be nobody else but the United States. The United States today is really the last empire. There's not going to be another one coming. So that empire is also the false prophet. Why? Because this empire brings a false political system into this world. They deceive the world with telling them they're bringing democracy when all they bring is war. It's all they have ever done. You look at the U.S. history, that's all they have ever done, is bring war. One war after another. So that's why they are the false prophet. And they are also an empire. And so then every president is really the false prophet. It's a representative. Okay? He is a representative of the system, of the beast system, out of the earth. And therefore, every president is a false prophet. So Trump is false prophet. We're going to have to look at the definition of false prophet or the beast out of the earth, and we'll see exactly what Trump is going to do. I already addressed the possibility that he is going to administer the mark of the beast. And he is going to do it. I almost think so. I knew Trump would become president again. I knew it. Okay, well, I didn't, I thought that was my intuition that he's going to win simply because he got they gave him extra points, one extra point. They worked very, very methodically to convince people, and especially the swing state people. I listened to somebody today, some German lady, and she said that she really looked at how Trump did win the swing states, and interesting, that was definitely planned. It didn't just happen. She said, oh, that nobody could arrange that. No. And she said, like, for instance, North Carolina, that he did win North Carolina, because of the hurricane. And nobody can do that. Yeah, well, that's not true either, is it? And also, Biden could have done something. Kamala Harris could have done something, but they didn't. And so they gave the points again to Trump. Okay? Trump got the points by sending Elon Musk in there and saving the day. Okay, so he did in every swing state, he did something to win the people over. And he got people to go and vote for him because they did not want to vote for what they had for the past 4 years. So, but I didn't want to go there. Just saying that Trump, now that he is president, is again the representative of the false prophet. He is the false prophet. He's not the Antichrist. He's not the man of sin. He is the false prophet. And yeah, does the false prophet make a peace treaty with anybody? No. See, because people are listening again to dispensationalism. The same thing with, the temple. Is there anything in the Bible that anybody is going to build a temple? No. Somebody's going to put themselves in the temple, and so they made this story up, dispensationalists, whoever it was, Darby, whoever, made this story up. I think go back to maybe Francisco Rivera, and he made that story up. Again, go there. Go to Francisco Rivera on Wikipedia, and you will know the things that he spread about the Antichrist. So, but no, this man, this false prophet, does not make a peace treaty in the Bible. It's not biblical. He may do it, okay, but it's not in the Bible. He may initiate the building of the temple. Again, watch my last video. But it's never going to be the temple of the Lord. We should know that. And again, we're going to see that today even more. Because today I'm going to look at, will he make a peace treaty? And why not? Why are they saying he's going to make a peace treaty? Because they're thinking about Daniel's 70 weeks. I made a lot of videos about Daniel's 70 weeks, but there's still people right now, new people, that still are confused. So therefore today I want to go to Daniel 9 again. Daniel 9, and we're going to go to the last verse in that chapter. Because there it is talking about a covenant. Somebody is going to make a covenant. So let's read that. 27. He will confirm a covenant with many for 1 7. 1 7 means 1 week. 7 years. Okay? When we talk about the 70 weeks of Daniel, it's not weeks, it's years. And it's actually not even years, it's years, weeks of years. So you have to do years times, or weeks times. If it's 70 weeks, it's 70 years times 7. So that's 490 years in all. Okay? So people can get confused there. So many say, oh, this last week is still to come. Okay? This is right here when he will confirm a covenant with many for 1 week or 7 years. So now we have all kinds of interpretation, especially coming from dispensationalism. Oh, this last week is not over yet. And what is the covenant here? And who is he? And people, we have to explain that only by using what's in the Bible, what's in Daniel. We cannot guess. See, people are now, oh, covenant. Well, that could be a peace treaty. A covenant is not a peace treaty. Okay? What kind of covenant do you know that Israel had with God? It's the first covenant, right? With Moses on Mount Sinai. That's the only one I know. But guess what? That's the first covenant that they broke. They broke it. And this is why Daniel had this vision. He actually didn't just have a vision. He was just disturbed. If you read the first part of Daniel, you know how disturbed he was. Why? Because he knew they broke the covenant. That covenant that Moses made, and they made with God, they broke. That's why they were sent into Babylonian captivity, and that's where Daniel was writing, having this vision and writing this book. Let's say a book. Okay? Do you understand that? That's what Daniel was. He's realizing, oh my goodness, we destroyed the covenant. Not only did we destroy the covenant, but now Messiah can come and redeem us. That was the end of the world. Yes, it was. And not only that, he read in Jeremiah that there's going to be a new covenant. Look at Jeremiah 31:31. That's where Jeremiah is writing about a new covenant that God will make with his people. A new covenant. So it has nothing to do with a peace treaty. This whole thing has nothing to do with a peace treaty. It has to do with a new covenant that God will again make with his people. And so here, this is what this is about. He will confirm a covenant with many for 1/7. Why only with many and only for 7 years? Why? Why didn't he make it with the whole, all with God's people, all with the Jews, all with Israel? Well, of course, you know that when Jesus came, well, I shouldn't say that because then it confuses you. But let's say when Jesus came, right? I don't remember what I wanted to say. But again, when Jesus came, most of Israel rejected him. And so he only made a covenant, a new covenant with many, because that's exactly what Jesus was going to do. Jesus would come, Messiah would come, and he's the one who would make a covenant with many, but not all, because most of them did not accept it. They did not accept him. Okay? So that's why we have here with many. Now here it says for 7 years. Now I'm assuming here, let's go back to the he. I'm assuming here he is not Antichrist. I'm assuming here, he is Messiah that makes a covenant. Why do I assume that? Do I assume it or do I know it? Well, I know it. Because he refers to what? A subject in the previous sentence. Singular. Okay, you know what singular is, right? One person, he is male, two, right? He, it's not she, and it's not plural. So in the previous sentence, previous verse, we have to find the subject that refers to the he. Okay, let's look at that. I think it's right there in the beginning. After the 62 sevens, the anointed one will be put to death and will have nothing. So clearly, this is talking about the anointed one. So people then also say, well, there is also one singular one, which is ruler. The people of the ruler who will come. So who is the ruler who will come? Even that is defined in the previous verse. Okay? And when we go to 25, it says, no one understand this from the time the word goes out to restore and rebuild Jerusalem until the anointed one, the ruler, comes. There will be 7 seventh and 62 seventh. So there will be altogether what? 69 weeks, which are of course 69 years times 7. And that's when who comes? The anointed one, the ruler. So when we are going down then to the ruler in 26, the people of the ruler, we should know who the people are of that ruler. And people, it's not another ruler. It's the ruler that just was defined. We cannot come up with our own definition and our own wants and desires. Everything is defined. We have the anointed one, who is the subject. He refers to the anointed one. We also know the anointed one is the ruler. And so therefore the ruler is actually also referring to the he. So we know the anointed one is the one who will confirm the covenant. Nobody else. There is no talk about an Antichrist or anybody to come. People, I remember believing, that's because I was confused. Nobody taught me right, because there's so many misinterpretations out there, believing that, oh, well, the people that destroyed the city, of course, must be Rome. And so then the ruler of the people is some ruler that comes out of Rome. No. Let's stick with it. The ruler to come is Jesus. The people of the ruler are the Jews. And then people are saying, well, but the Jews didn't destroy their city. Yes, they did. They caused their city to be destroyed. Matter of fact, they started the process of destroying their city. Okay? They even set the fire in the temple. It was their fault because of their rebellion. Because of their rebellion, their city was destroyed. And so this is correct. The people who destroyed the city, okay, are the Jews, and the ruler is Jesus. And so this Jesus, the anointed one, he will confirm a covenant with many for 1/7, for 7 years. Now we're going to have to explain that. Now, how in the world can he make a covenant with many for 7 years? He was only there for 3.5 years as in his ministry. Okay, this is what Jesus did. His ministry lasted 3.5 years. That's in the middle. Okay, that's what it says right here. In the middle of the 7, he will put on end to sacrifice and offering. Why? We already know that he will be put to death and will have nothing in 26. So after the 62 sevens, that means after 69 weeks. After 69 weeks. So in the middle of the 70th week, the anointed one will be put to death and will have nothing. Okay? And that's exactly according to 27, 3.5 years. So Jesus, we know his ministry lasted 3.5 years. And people, what did he do? He made a covenant, this new covenant, with many lost sheep of Israel as accepted him. Not all of them, because most of them rejected him. But with many he did. And he proclaimed that all the time. I have come to bring the gospel to the lost sheep of Israel. He said that several times. You can find that. So that's 3.5 years. What happened after 3.5 years? He put an end to sacrifice and offering. It wasn't an Antichrist. It was Jesus himself. Why? Because he died as the ultimate sacrifice on the cross. After that, no sacrifices are needed. That's why when the Jews sacrifice, it's sacrilegious. I think that's the right word, right? It's an abomination. It's an abomination. Because God already told them when he had the temple destroyed. He said, it's over. The old covenant is over. You cannot restore the old covenant. Nobody can come in and restore the covenant. It's over. He said, I'm going to make a new covenant. And this is what he's talking about right here. Not a peace treaty, for goodness sakes. Not a peace treaty. A covenant. And in the middle of that 7-year covenant, he put an end to sacrifice and offering. Because he gave himself as the ultimate sacrifice. And then 3.5 years after his death, because the week wasn't completed, the disciples only went to the lost sheep of Israel. After that, then the Jews rejected Jesus finally when they stoned Stephen. And after that, the gospel not only went to the Jews, but also to the Gentiles. And you will see that process in Acts. The disciples only went to the lost sheep of Israel for 3.5 years before God said, now it's time to go, or God showed them that also now the gospel goes to the Gentiles. And that's when they decided, okay, the apostles, they go to the lost sheep continue to go to the lost sheep of Israel, but Paul he got the blessing to go to the Gentiles. And of course, eventually, they all kind of mingled and mixed, and it didn't matter anymore whether you're a Jew or a Gentile. But this is what happened. This is how that last week of Daniel panned out, and it's over. It is absolutely over. There is no anything left of Daniel's 70 weeks. Why? Because Jesus fulfilled everything. Here it says in 24, 70 with sevens are decreed for your people and your holy city to finish transgression. Who finished transgression? Jesus. To put an end to sin. Who put an end to sin? Jesus. To atone for wickedness, to bring in everlasting righteousness, to seal up vision and prophecy, and to anoint. And here I have, unfortunately, the NIV. It says most the holy, to anoint the most holy place. That is such a horrible translation. What is it? Who are they going to anoint? The most holy one, not the holy place. The most holy place, of course, is what? The Holy of Holies in the temple. That was destroyed. But who was symbolic? Or what was it symbolic for? For Jesus. When you look at this, I guess somebody did something okay here. I'm looking down here. Somebody translated it correctly. Or the most holy one. Okay? On the bottom. That's what it is. Most holy one. To anoint the most holy one. Jesus was anointed the most holy one when he died on the cross. That's when he showed himself to be Messiah. That's when he showed himself to be the ultimate sacrifice. And therefore, sacrifice and offerings were put an end. He put an end to sacrifice and offering. And when the Jews today are trying to rebuild the temple and start again these sacrifices and offerings and these bulls and lambs and all the stuff they are screaming in God's face saying, we totally go against your plan. And they're still doing it. And the people who are supporting that, they're just as bad. They're just as bad. Because they're supporting not only the Jews to not find their Messiah, but they're rejecting Messiah themselves and what Messiah has done. He has put an end to sacrifice and offering. He, Jesus, the anointed one. Nobody else. There's not going to be a temple, and then this Antichrist is going to put an end to sacrifice and offering, because the offering are not going to be sacrifices for God. They are not going, God is not honoring them. None of them that they're doing today, any of the lambs, any of that heifer stuff that they're doing, God is not honoring it. They build another temple, God is not going to honor it. And therefore, there's not going to be this peace treaty. Now, here it is. Can the false prophet make a peace treaty? Yes, he can. Is it then prophetic? No. There is no prophecy behind that. Well, there is one prophecy. And when we go to, so let's go to 1 Thessalonians 5. And there's somewhat of a prophecy that says, now, brethren and sisters, about the times and the dates we do not need to write you. And he's talking here about the day of the Lord. For you know very well that the day of the Lord will come like a thief in the night. While people are saying peace and safety, destruction will come on them suddenly, as labor pains on a pregnant woman, and they will not escape. Now the man of sin, I'm almost certain, not the man of sin, I keep saying the man of sin, no, the false prophet, which is Trump, will definitely make peace treaties. The first thing he's going to do, people, has already said that before he even starts his presidency, he's going to take care of the war with Ukraine. So right there, he's going to make a peace treaty. And then people think, oh, that's great, peace, 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 and safety. But then comes sudden destruction, because somebody is not going to honor it. And believe me, it's not going to be Putin either. He is not going to be destroying it. going to be somebody else that will destroy that peace treaty, because there's some people that have no interest in keeping this peace treaty. Trump will also maybe do some peace treaties again in the Middle East with Israel and maybe Iran and whatever. Yes, he may do that. Because they can't continue just doing this, because that will lead to World War III. Because if they continue to make war with Iran, guess what? Russia is going to help Iran. So they're going to have to make sure that there's a peace treaty too there. But again, Israel will not keep peace treaty because they want greater Israel. No matter what Trump gives them, they're not going to be happy. You know, he gave them the Golan Heights last time, or not gave it to them, but agreed to that, stole it away from, Syria, and he gave them the blessing for the Golan Heights. But, yeah, he will try to do something in the Middle East, so it will look like it's a peace and safety. But then sudden destruction will come. This is what I see rather happening then. Oh, somebody's going to make, the Antichrist is going to make a peace treaty right there with Daniel, Daniel's 70th week, and put himself in the temple. No. Please watch my video with the temple, my last video. There's most likely not be another temple. It's possible, but it's not going to be the temple of God anyways. It's going to be an abomination. It's absolutely an abomination, because God is not asking them to build another temple, period. There's nothing saying they don't have prophets. So who's going to tell them that God wants them to build a temple? It's ridiculous. Absolutely insane. But I'm not going to go there. I talked about that in my last video. This peace treaty, well, there's going to be a peace treaty, all right, but it has nothing to do with this covenant in Daniel 9. Nothing whatsoever. Please, again, go to my videos under the playlist Dispensationalism, so you understand about dispensationalism and all the lies that dispensationalism took into our churches. Our churches are infested with dispensationalism. And I'm not surprised that all these people, believe in it. And of course, there's peace treaty. And of course, we have these Zionist Christians that believe, Trump is who knows what Trump is. Okay? Yeah, the only thing he can be is the Antichrist. And of course, that's not so, because he is the false prophet. You have any question about false prophet? I have done a lot of videos. Watch them too. All right. And let the Holy Spirit guide you always.